Okay, so call to order the June 20th meeting of the HVAC IAQ Building Committee. We'll stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Okay. Sit there. All right. Approval of the meetings from June 6th.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting for Friday, June 6, 2025.
Second the motion. Any discussion?
Not on my end.
Nor on mine. Very good. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. All right. Project updates. Phase 1. Osborne Hill.
Sure.
Go ahead, Tim.
So Osborne Hill currently working majority on the roof, getting duct stands in. We're doing the last couple of VRF curbs, which just continues to push us for the VRF units. And then we also have all the ductwork already on the roof, basically ready to go on the stands. We put up some temporary protection in front of the vestibules. We're getting ready to do vestibule demolition. We started all that this week. We've also been doing, the miscellaneous stuff still inside of the building, ABS controls, etc. So moving along at Osborne Hill, Fairfield Woods, similar fashion. So wrapping up some of the stuff on top of the roof, at least of what we can do at this moment. We did start doing footing excavation in front of the vestibule this week, which we finished, I think, late last night around 5:36. We wrapped that up. We have rebar come this week, and we're pouring the footing for the new vestibule early next week, and then continue to track with getting the FCO storefronts, which is the exterior portion of these vestibules, installed. North Stratfield, we're underway inside and top of the building. So again, we started to remove the vestibules. We have the roofing crew doing the full rip and replace for the new roof on top. As well as a mix of the MEP trades, of course, getting their stuff in as well. Just big note here. I think we did touch on it last call, but the vestibule systems, the interior, the Armortex, I know I had mentioned that they were going to be late August. We did have a correspondence from the Armortex rep themselves. They had initially said they were going to be shipping 8/22, which would be obviously an issue with our schedule. We did go back and forth a few times. We have them right now tracking for estimating to ship us the frames on August 8th, which would at least let us get frames in. And then we could figure out if there's a need for a temporary glass situation or not, as we can discuss that as a team as the summer goes on. As Gilbane's side of things, we did review the conditions with our supers and myself in the field. If we get the frames, even if the frames came late, we could still do all the finishes because the frames are going to sit on top of the new floor, and we're going to be building kind of like a header structure for the interior to fasten to, so we could still do our ceilings. So if at a worst case catastrophic where these things don't ship until basically the first week of school, we could figure out a way to install them, whether it be at night or something of that nature. But we would still be able to do the finishes in the vestibule and get the school opened on time. So again, that's a worst case scenario. Latest I got this week was that they're still tracking 8/8. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed and push for that. And we can, hopefully not have this conversation at the end of the month, at the end of August. So that's pretty much all I have right now for current updates.
So
any questions?
Yeah. This is mostly for Sal, or it is for Sal. If we do have that worst case scenario, is it critical that these vestibules are open for the start of school?
Well, we're not going to block the main entrance. What we'll end up with is the situation that we actually have now, which is people being not being able to be captured in a secure vestibule. We'll end up following our existing protocols as far as visitor management. The completion would have to be done, so not to disrupt the flow and function of the school. But not having the BP glazing on the interior doors, we'll have to, we'll have to deal with it. It basically just is replicating what we have now, which is what we're, we have our procedures and all that.
Right.
And the
Right.
upgrade is a little bit delayed, so we'll deal with it.
So worst case scenario, we won't be, in any case, we won't be delaying the opening of school.
No, that's correct.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and again,
I
the
was gonna say
storefronts, the storefronts that go in the front of the building, we have all that glass and glazing in stock with with Cherry Hill. So once, like I said, once we finish ripping these vestibules out, we have Cherry Hill queued up to come right back and put them in. So we expect all the vestibules, with the exception of Fairfield Woods, because it's a more integral design and we have to do footings and rebar and get inspections. But the other two schools, it's basically remove and replace. We're looking to get those wrapped up within the next week and a half or so. We should have the new vestibules in. So yeah, the security of the school will not be compromised. Like Sal said, it'll be the interior portion, which will follow current protocol if we get to that scenario.
Okay, thanks.
Maybe at some point when we get like into early August, we can set up a special walkthrough with building committee so you guys could see firsthand what it looks like at every school. Maybe we can target a time to meet and walk through
Yeah,
all
that's-
three
that's-
schools so you have an idea where we stand.
That's a great idea.
Yep, that would be no problem.
Okay.
I guess I got one just to follow up with Tim. Power shutdowns are scheduled. Power turnovers
No, we don't
are
have those.
scheduled.
We don't have the shutdown scheduled yet. We're confirming those on Tuesday with Ramon from UI. So we're looking to get into that late next week or the following week and get the transformers dropped.
But you've been working with them all along.
Yes.
So
Yep.
on my side, movers were here this week, moved out of the book room, got the furniture out of the main offices, the boxes and all the other items were taken care of by the school staff, but the bulky desks were not. So we had them move them, so that's all set and were cleared and out of their way in the main offices. We have a full docket of invoices and ATPs to go through, and we also have the Tomlinson BMP for approval today.
Is Mark's audio as poor with you guys as it is with me?
Yes.
It was a little
Yes.
choppy. Yes.
Yeah, he's still on that cheap Wi-Fi.
It's dial up. He's on AOL.
Yeah,
you know.
we pay Colliers enough. You think they should upgrade?
Okay. So Mark, it is hard to hear you though, so just be aware. So you'll have to I don't know, you might be asked to repeat some stuff. So, okay. Project updates, Tomlinson, I should say, Rodney, any other questions on project updates?
No.
I will just ask Fitz House. That's just still on delay till the weather gets cold. Just for the sake of the record, so I can note that down.
We're gonna hit that in old business.
Okay, got it.
All right, so Tomlinson, the GMP, we're waiting for Adam. Adam, get back to you, Tim. Mark.
Yeah. Have not gotten. Adam has not gotten back to me.
Okay.
But we can go over the GMP now. We have it on the milestone for approval by the building committee today, and then we're going to try to get it in front of the Board of Selectmen on Wednesday for approval, or what they need to do with it. So,
Are we on their calendar for Wednesday?
that's what I'm getting on.
That was the Adam question. So I had a call into to add them into the BOS, so I'll follow up on that this morning as well. That is the intention though, Rodney, to get on the agenda for Wednesday.
Okay. How far out do they make their calendars?
Unclear.
Okay. I was just curious. Because if they have a full slate,
If they have a
We
full
don't get
slate,
this-
I'm gonna beg them to bring us to the front of the agenda. We paid our dues last time, right?
yeah,
Not that I didn't enjoy hanging out in the hallway with you guys for several hours, but I think we'd rather see. if
No,
we
but
can-
that was a little bit painful that
Yeah.
night.
Let's get pulled a little
And-
forward on the agenda.
And previously with GMPs, we've had both scenarios where we did a presentation, and I believe at Mill Hill, we did the presentation, and I believe with this project, it was just a line item on the agenda, a motion and a line item. There was no presentation.
Yeah.
Because we are under budget, and it's basically just a check-in.
Jeff, I apologize. I won't be able to be there Wednesday.
Yeah, fair enough.
No, I have a standing meeting on Wednesdays.
Everybody set up your excuses now, quick. No, I understand.
Jeff, is Gilbane, Jeff
Hey,
and
I'm
Mark,
here every Friday, so.
is Gilbane needed for that Wednesday meeting? I can
Let
have
me
Tim attend.
I don't know. Let me reach out to the selectman's office
Yeah,
this
but-
morning and see if to Mark's point, if it's going to be a line item and they're going to just approve it
Yeah.
and move on, then there's no reason to fill the room. If there's questions and stuff, then we'll have to look at getting representation there for different
That's
groups.
fine. I'm away
No.
next week, so Tim is gonna have to attend in my place, just
Okay.
FYI.
Mm,
Okay,
okay.
thanks.
Keep rolling
New
in.
new administration, but the precedent on the other two GMPs were, no, it was when we did present it was building committee chairman only.
Okay,
And are you hearing me much better?
we are.
Okay.
You've taken your head out of the
Upgrade.
sink, so that's good. All right.
Better than the oven.
Didn't sound like
I mean-
it. Okay, so GMP,
GMP wise,
you're gonna zoom in on that document by at least 25%, if not more. Thank you.
bottom line, we are under budget. We
What was the
had
budgeted cost?
budgeted costs for construction. You had that. Coming out of the CD estimate was $4,237,340.
So we're almost 1.4 under. Somewhere in that range, right?
We are, well,
Are you talking construction costs or total costs, including soft
construction
costs?
construction costs.
So the construction costs, if I'm reading,
We are
Go ahead.
under, or we're over by $13,000 that we
So
can
it's that
take out of-
total 4.28 million at the bottom is
Yeah.
what you're comparing to the,
Correct.
okay,
I'm
all right.
comparing that number to the CD estimate for Gilbane's costs.
So be
taken into-
be careful in your terminology. We're not under budget.
yeah, we're not under budget. Yeah, we're slightly over budget. Right?
Well,
Where
it
are you
depends
splitting
on-
hairs?
It depends on how you keep the score. There is part of what I have as being over budget is there's a roofing allowance that we are holding for the roofing project that is $120,000. So that'll go into the construction line. Well, it'll be part of the construction line item that got added on to this 4.28 million.
Okay,
Um,
so we're at budget. We're not under budget.
Yes, we're at budget.
Okay.
But we're also, there are allowances in the GMP that from previous experience on this project, we have allowances in there that are already in there instead of taking contingency for it during construction. So we've identified the risk and it's in the GMP at this point.
That's good. Rodney, I don't know if you've got a chance to look through this document, or Mark, do you have more details you want to go through?
I just wanted to say that all five contractors were vetted, scoped out and vetted, and they are good with the scopes as
So the
is.
Oscar's abatement with the demolition has been resolved. He's
Correct.
Yes,
He's good with his number.
yes.
Okay.
Sorry
Pull
about that.
Off the old business list. Okay. All right, Mark, other details you want to cover in this document?
Mark, if you need me to take
Yeah,
over,
go-
happy.
Yeah, go ahead, Amar.
So basically what you see in front of you is our GMP summary. The only adjustment that we're going to make to this one in review with Mark is we're going to eliminate a $10,000 site services line item. So what you see in the number, the bottom line, the 428, you got to subtract from that $10,000 plus markup, which is about $12,000, the final document that you're going to see that's going to go in for approval. So that was the only adjustment I need to make from a math perspective. So when you see the final document, it's going to be $10,000+ less than what you see in front of you as the final number that's going to go to the town for approval. As far as backup, it's generally similar to previous GMPs. We carried the backup for our field office support. We don't have a trailer for this, similar to phase one. It's all the backup for any work and site services like dumpster and toilets, temporary dumpsters, things of that nature. That cost, again, very similar and consistent with phase one. No magic about it. And there's obviously this project schedule, the documents that's referenced within the GMP, and that's all the backup that we have in those pages that you see subsequent to the summary. So I'm happy to go through any great or detail you'd like me to do. And there's some obviously trade allowances within the trade packages. Those are identified. There's our typical qualifications, again, very similar to phase one. This package is very, very similar to phase one schools. So I'm happy to go through any detail or any questions. Once this is approved, we'll have to order the payment performance bond. Obviously, the town has to procure the builder's risk, similar to phase one again. And then the town, I'm assuming, is going to issue probably a change order to the contract, which is an amendment to our contract for this GMP for us to get going on it. And I think everybody knows the timeline for the execution of this phase is going to start. We're going to kick it off once it's approved, start collecting submittals, and likely we're probably going to end up kicking off the work right after. We don't want to put too much on our plate right now. So we're probably going to start right after Labor Day and take it over to the end of next summer. Okay, as far as the completion of this is just the reason being because there's equipment we have to order and there's lead time, and we cannot touch those areas until the summer of 26.
Mark,
Rodney, you were muted.
Builder's risk,
Sorry.
we have excluded by owner, so the expectation is that the town is going to take that on as within the.
As we did in phase one, and I've reached out to Adam
Correct.
for that.
Correct.
Sal, I assume that schedule works for you?
Yes,
Reading lips, I guess, yes.
yes. I was having trouble with the mute button, but yes.
Okay. Okay. Rodney, any other questions or comments on GMP?
Not from my end.
Amar, you're on vacation next week, if I teased that out correctly. So as someone on your team building a a non-marked up version of this document with the numbers
I-
revised?
I plan on doing that this weekend. I was waiting for this meeting. I'm not leaving till Monday, so I'll have the weekend. Mark will have the final version of this, the revised one, the cleaned up for approval. And I'll copy you, Jeff, as well when I send it out, and Sal, obviously.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll probably
You'll have
shoot,
it.
we'll probably shoot the draft version over to the, we may have to send the draft over to the BOS then, just so they have.
Yeah, it should have been done
me
already.
getting it back up. Yeah, I should have gone already, agreed. So we'll have to.
Let me ask a question. Do you need it tonight? I can send it tonight. I'll try to get it done tonight if that works for you guys.
Well, I mean, in my opinion, as we've been harping on, getting stuff the day before we're supposed to approve it is
Yep.
unacceptable. And now we're asking the Board of Selectmen to, in one day, to review this and approve a $650,000, or I'm not, sorry, not a $4 million GMP, which I think is really, really not appropriate.
Yeah. Do you
What-
agree? Go ahead, Mark.
I mean, what is their next meeting? Like I said, I'm
July
not-
9th.
Oh,
Well,
Jul-
if I could jump in, and
Yeah.
I'm actually wondering, because my understanding, and maybe with your discussions with the first selectman's office, Jeff, you can clarify it, is what they want approval on is contracts over $10,000. The GMP is not the contract. The contract is the AIA contract that will have to be amended. So it's the contract amendment when that paperwork is brought up, needs to be brought before the board select. At least that's my understanding. So we might have a misunderstanding of what needs to be brought to them, and making the presentation of the number might just be the FYI, this is what's going to be coming before you in a couple of weeks once the town attorney reviews it.
Yeah, I had the same conversation with Mark yesterday. I was reading through that 1990 building committee document to try to understand because like photocopies of photocopies of photocopies. It's pretty funny. But
Those are
anyways, I was trying to
mimeographs.
understand the formality of the process here.
Those were mimeographs that you.
Mimeographs. I'm sorry. Yes, somebody put the letters onto the copy machine.
So somebody explain that to Tim. I don't think he
Yeah,
knows what
that-
mimeocopies were.
That was a copying thing before right after the invention of the printing press and before you got to
geez.
Xerox.
There were
that-
Craigs involved, yeah. Because I agree, I didn't see any formality.
Is that
around
where they printed the World
requirement.
War II document on? They said the war's over.
Something like that, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, so the 1990 instrument that you're talking about would not include that procedure of going before the Board of Selectmen for approval of contracts over $10,000. That is something that occurred in the last administration as it's one of those things that happen from time to time. It wasn't, basically it used to be, we approved the funds when we approved the account
The
line.
budget, yeah.
And then there was a reread by another authority, another town attorney or whatever, and said, no, charter really needs you to make this step and say, okay, here's the actual contract because you're approving the contract. And so what that approval has been for the most part is that the town attorney has reviewed the contract and they're okay with it being executed. And that all that stuff used to happen behind the scenes. Now it just has to have a public showing or public approval. So that's something that changed, like I said, like in the past 5 years or something like that.
I did put a call into Adam yesterday as well, so I'll follow.
So
up.
Adam, just FYI, Adam is out. I
Okay.
spoke with him the other day. He's out until next Wednesday.
All right, okay.
Jesus.
Try asking for Lee Flaherty. She's
Lee
the
Flaherty?
deputy.
Okay.
And she can possibly get the answer for you.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
All right, and then if and give me a shout if that's not working for you, and we'll.
Is Lee in your building or is?
No, Lee is
Oh,
down at Sullivan Independence Hall,
So, okay.
Town Hall,
Very good. That's what I thought, but. Okay.
right where we're waiting in the hallway.
Yeah,
That's all.
yeah. I remember seeing the procurement office. Okay. Okay, so I guess we do need a motion to approve the GMP as presented, however, so I guess I can make that motion. So I'll make a motion to accept the GMP for Tomlinson Phase 2 work as presented with identified modifications.
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
Not for me.
Okay, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you all. All right. What's next on this fun meeting today? Let's see. We've got approvals. Tomlinson, we just did that one. ATPs.
Do we want to go over the pending log first, or do we just want to jump into the
No, let's do
ATP?
let's do it school by school, but let's do the pending log first. Yeah, let's do all three.
Okay. Just for
You're flat.
everybody's explanation, as I'm trying to zero this in. Grayed out is what we covered last week or last meeting. The white is the new ones that got added within the last 2 weeks. So we had basically four for Osborne Hill that got added, with 2 of which are true ups. We do have the additional ACT in the offices. This is for areas that we weren't touching, but it has been requested that we do it. And I have photos of these areas. It is, well, I'll just show you the photos and.
Yeah, Rodney, just from a procedural perspective, before we go down that rabbit hole, this is what I was thinking we should do, and I've also talked to Mark with Tomlinson. The thought is to put a high, medium, low probability with each ATP, so we have an impression of what's the likelihood of that being realized, right? This is from a risk perspective, these ATPs. That was one of the thoughts. So I look for if you have any thoughts or input into continuing this process so we can not be surprised and we can have clarity of the ATPs long before we vote on them, plus have a holistic perspective of what ATPs exist. So we're not voting on things in ignorance of the bigger package.
I agree, but it looks like we're voting on some of these today. So we didn't get much notice.
Well, I mean, sometimes they're going to pop up and
Yeah.
I don't disagree. So if it comes up, like this one is a new one, so
It's a new one which we're voting on today.
or not.
And it
Or not,
and it doesn't need. Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have jumped in. That this is a district request, and if you need more time to mull on it, as far as us, if it goes to the next meeting, I'm okay with that. But I would let Gilbane say whether it's a hindrance to them or not.
No, we can wait till the next meeting. This would be work we'd do either come back or we would do at the end of, we have to finish the base contract first. So we can wait till the next meeting if we have to.
It was a recent realization that there were no work in those areas, in these particular areas, and none of the ceilings were being replaced. And he was just showing you some of the tiles that probably through the whole project that are most egregiously ugly tiles. So you know, they got it to you as quickly as they can, but it's not. And I think there might be, and I don't know how it can be color coded, that here are the ones that are priority for approval on a particular meeting when being presented, if that makes sense. They're all being presented, but it's up to you whether you feel comfortable enough to do it. Maybe there's a color coding things that you can work out, Mark can work out for you, so that you're not thinking everything is being being put forward to you for approval right this second when they just put it on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probability
days ago.
and priority. Tim, quick side question. When is the ceiling tile work slated to begin for phase 2? Well, replacement, we have the punch list, we got the sagging, we have phase 2 tile, ceiling tiles. I assume.
We have like, well, it's different at the 3 schools, but right now, like at Fairfield Woods, we are starting to do pad outs, cuts and padding in phase 2 areas where we can. So we are mobilizing those teams to start doing the pads, because especially with the Humagard, we have less concern about any of the ambient elements. So we are doing that now at Fairfield Woods, and we'll probably have the crews shift their gears to Osborne and North Stratfield as necessary over the next 2-3 weeks.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just I know that the specs for the Humagard, right, 104 degrees Fahrenheit and relative humidity of 90 to 95%. They're both supposed to be below those numbers.
Yeah.
You know, the outside we're going to exceed those specs if you're sitting outside. So I don't know what we're going to have to be careful of. I mean, the humidity in the coming week is supposed to actually be in the low 90s. So you may actually see, again, if you're in your yard, you're going to feel relative humidity in the low 90s. So there is some concern. And we're going to talk about ceiling tiles more from an old business perspective, but I just want to get a feel for the timing. Okay. So Mark, do you want to, and then just, I guess, continue down this list then of the new items. So we have the ACT in the offices for.
Yeah, and then the Bolton 5 additional electrical. Tim, do you want to explain this one? This is an additional electrical that was in Bolton 5 that Ferguson came back to you after our last meeting and said that the ROM or the estimate that was in the ATP was incorrect.
Yeah, so we had a ROM that we tried to put together to get, just somewhat of a picture for this Bolton 5, because we needed to get at least approval to proceed in some fashion. The pricing from the electrician came back higher across all 3 schools. I think we were carrying right around 10,000 per school, and they came back, I think, 16,000, 18,000, right around there. I'd say like between 6,000 to 8,000 higher across the board on each 3 schools. We have not had time to go through and vet those costs and make sure they're completely accurate. We're doing that right now. But there was an increase from the initial Bulletin 5 approval for electric.
What was the discrepancy, Tim?
No real discrepancy. I just think it's just lack of time to have the trades properly go through the full scope and just really, sharpen their pencils and get down to the details. So, there's, North Stratfield had a lot of additional adds as far as like, convenience outlets, receptacles, additional wiring, stuff along those lines. So again, when they looked at it from a bird's eye view to try to get us like, a damage number, we kind of came up with one, and now we had a more sharpened number coming in from the electrician. So it was more of that, let alone there was no detailed review initially.
And we approved that last time, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, we had approval for all 3, so we could procure flooring and stuff like that we had to get lead times with.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mark, go to the next school, just sort of get a holistic picture here and then we can.
Yep, North Stratfield, true, again, white is new. Yeah, just the true up of the Bolton 5 vestibule revisions and then the Bolton 5 additional electrical carrying 10,000. This rooftop unit, ATP 36, increased to 39.7 essentially. That's why it's in white. I believe I had 35 or 36 last time. And then for woods, again, the true up of Bolton 5 vestibule that got approved at the last meeting. RFI 133, the DOAS 5 duct penetration frames. This is coming out of an RFI response that Gilbane is carrying it as an out of scope. We do not have an ATP for it. And then this is a lesser one, but the main office ACT, and then the Bolton 5 additional electrical.
What was 113? Oh, the ACD ceiling tiles. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And if there's no questions with that, we'll jump into the ATPs. ATP 48, we'll start at Woods and work our way down. ATP 48. This is for the exposed gym ceiling painting in the aux gym. Do you want to run through this, Tim?
Which one is this one? This is the
Aux gym.
048.
yeah. So this one is just again. This was work requested by FPS to paint the ceilings flat black. While the project is ongoing. Is this one? Do we have this one as fixed, Mark, or is this estimated?
This is estimated.
Yeah. So because I was gonna say we just met with the painter this week to talk price and try to make sure that everything is completely aligned. So we're working through that. We did get final price, or we're getting a final price in the next couple of days. So this one will probably get updated, and I believe we're going to go down. So we were able to kind of, not nickel and diamond, but go through his hours and protection and all that type of stuff. So yeah, it's an extra. It's ceiling paint. It was a FPS request, I think, for making the schools uniform across the district. So we are going to apply it to the painting allowance that we have on the school. We have 50,000, so we're going to at Woods we're going to be tight with that allowance, but we'll that's what we're planning to do, is put it in the allowance.
So this 35,815 is not it's not above the allowance.
We're tight right now with our allowance at Woods because we still have gas piping that needs to get put in there. We have the office painting for the vestibules that's going to be in there. So this number is going to make us hit the number or potentially go over it a little bit.
Okay.
We're going to
so
over. We're probably going to over. What? Sorry, Rodney.
Are we approving additional funds, or are we taking this out of our allowance?
We're going to have to, I think when all is said and done with what's hitting that allowance, we're going to be over it by about 10,000 or so.
Are we
question,
over now?
The question remains is, are we taking this out of allowance, or are we adding to the contract value for this particular item, 048?
Let's
This
do
one-
this, Rodney. Maybe that's, since we're finalizing the price and there's a meeting next week of the building committee. Tim, is it okay to table this now till next meeting? So you have a better number and we'll have a better handle on the allowance of what's remaining. We might be able to apply some of this against the allowance balance and then present you the overage. Does that make sense, Tim?
Yeah. So you can do that.
I mean,
All right.
to be honest, that's what I'd like to see. I mean,
Yeah.
the breakdown,
Yeah,
because that, you know, we approve this and it says allowance on the source.
correct.
So,
Yeah.
so is it coming out of the allowance pocket or are we adding?
No, I totally agree, Rob.
$40,000
So
to the
let's
Yeah,
table
we can give
this.
you like a summary, Rodney. I think the thing is right now we have a few painting things floating around that are hitting that allowance that actually haven't been realized yet. So there hasn't been like an actual realization to the allowance line item yet for this stuff. So we can put something together that just shows you if all these things get approved, this is what you'll be at, and this is what your overage will be.
Yeah, let's
Perfect.
do
I
that
mean,
for next meeting.
I don't want to be, I don't want to be difficult about it, but you know.
No, it's not. It's a quick
The-
exercise.
the-
We'll do it to make it
At
easier
the
to
end of the
understand.
day, we need to know where the funds are coming from.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
totally
I
understand.
hear you. Yep. We'll
But
put something
that's
together
the-
for you guys.
That was the idea of the other document too, is to understand the impact and the full picture, not to, because otherwise,
Yeah.
if we just approve the allowance, then we're gonna get an ATP for the overage
Right.
in a month, and then we're
Yeah,
gonna
no, I
go
understand, and
back to it.
that's why we had that's why we didn't do that, because we had the gym, we had this exposed ceiling painting, we had the gas painting, we have the office painting, and all of those are floating around. Nothing's been actually realized yet. So like, it depends if you pick and chose one or the other, then we apply them to the allowance, and you might not have an overage. So we'll put together the full picture, what we have, what the exposure is, and then what the overage will be if we select yes to everything. We'll
Yeah.
get that to you guys for next meeting.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, if, as long as it doesn't impact anything, I appreciate that.
No, we're okay at the moment. We can wait. So
right.
we'll get it together for you guys.
Very
So
good.
Jeff, I make a motion to, defer,
Table,
pardon me?
table it. That's
Yeah, to the table.
Our
so-
table, table, ATP 048, exposed exposed gym ceiling painting, auxiliary gym allowance source. It's an estimate of 35,815 until we get additional information.
Very good. I'll
Mark
second the
BL is
motion.
on the call, by the way.
Pardon me?
Mark BL is on the call, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw Jesse.
Yeah, it's been-
Good morning, Jesse. Okay, so all in favor of tabling motion 048?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, moving on.
Next one is 050, the main office ACT upgrades. As we spoke about when we were going through the pending log. Do we want to table this for next meeting?
I'm okay with it. How about you, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm fine. So this is the additional ceiling tile work in the areas within Fairfield Woods that need to be, that are, the ceiling tiles are aged out.
So I'll make a motion to approve ATP 050 main office ACT upgrades. It's coming out of contingency with an estimated value of $6,978.
Second the motion. Any further discussion?
None.
Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on.
Moving on to North Stratfield. This is the final cleaning allowance. Base allowance was 50,000, previously approved with 7,500 for the end of last summer. This is an authorization for the balance of the allowance of $42,500 for the final cleaning in August.
I'll make a motion to accept the ATP for North Stratfield 015 final cleaning. It's coming from allowance. It's an estimate for 42,500.
I'll second the motion. Any discussion?
No.
Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This next one is ATP 28 for the vestibule. Vestibule door hardware. This is an FYI, originally approved at in April of 28,620. Final price came in at $21,114.
Yay.
Cost
Just paid for the ceiling tiles. in Woods.
You're welcome, guys. We like to serve.
Easy, Tim, easy.
Next one is ATP 39 RFI 083 for the existing equipment feeders. This is another FYI. Final cost on this was $26,094 from a previous approved back in May of $26,404 for a savings of $310.
Oh, we're on a roll.
310.
I told you. I don't lie.
The
Now it just gets worse, right?
don't hurt your shoulder, patting yourself on the back.
Ooh,
Oh, Mark, that stings.
no comeback, Tim. You gotta come back on that one.
I'll let Mark keep that one. He can have it. It's all right.
Thank you.
He's digging his own grave, right?
Yeah, yep. I'll get him when he
Uh-oh.
least expects it, you know?
With the scars on my back, it'll just be another one.
Oh gosh, you hear that? That orchestra's just tuning up.
Right. Lifting,
Oh boy.
lifting my feet off the ground for this now. All right, moving on.
Got your hip
040.
waders on. ATP 40. This is the gym ceiling painting at North Stratfield. This is coming out. I've got this coming out of the allowance. It's an estimated, but this is another one where there's any overruns will be
So,
contingency drop.
This one I just want to say we won't have a overrun if we approve this one. Just FYI, it's not the same condition as Woods. So if you guys are feeling inclined, we can look. You can take this one, or if you want the same type of thing, we can do it. But Woods is the only school we're having that potential overrun right now.
This is from the allowance only, and you don't anticipate it.
We don't anticipate to go over it like we're doing at Woods at the moment. So based on what we have floating around.
I'm fine with it, Jeff, if you were.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to accept ATP 040. Gym ceiling painting out of the allowance. It's an estimated value of $36,614.
38,614.
Oh, I said 36. I'm sorry, 38,614.
Okay. I was scanning, thinking I was looking at the wrong line. Okay, I'll second the motion. Any discussion?
None from my end.
Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Passes. Nothing on the roof.
Osborne Hill, ATP 21 final cleaning. Again, this is original allowance of 50,000. At the end of last August was ATP for 7,500. So this is an ATP for the balance of the allowance of 42,500.
I'll make a motion to accept ATP 0 for Osborne School 021 final cleaning. The sources of the allowance, estimated value 42,500.
Second the motion. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
And that can't be. Final cleaning is 09, correct, Tim?
Oh, the
Yes.
team number's wrong.
Yeah, the ATP number.
What is the ATP?
009.
All right. I'll make a motion to accept ATP 009 for Osborne School final cleaning. Sources of the allowance, estimated value of 42,500.
I'll second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So just to be clear for the record that that was a duplication of 021 that was previously approved. So that's just clarification of the ATP number.
Yep. Now we're on to
I'll,
02.
I'll probably make my own graph when doing the minutes then, just to correct that if need be. So
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you, George.
no problem.
Now on to the real ATP 021 for RFI 114, new electrical room domestic water conflict. This is an FYI. It was approved 2 weeks ago at $27,175. The final cost, final ATP is at $23,944 for $3,231 savings.
Okay.
Zero 023 drywall soffits at new ceilings. This is an allowance. Tim, do you want to talk us through this? This is
Well, we're just
estimate.
looking to open this allowance. Yeah, it's just to open up the allowance for use.
What's the value in the of the allowance? What do we have in the bank?
That's the full allowance, I believe, right?
This is
Mark,
the full allowance? Okay.
Yeah, we hadn't opened this one yet on the job, so we want to open it for anything going on this summer.
All right. I make a motion to accept ATP 023 for Osborne School drywall soffits at new ceilings. It's coming from the allowance. It's an estimated value of $75,000.
I'll second the motion. Any discussion?
None.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Zero 024. This is for the additional ceiling tiles at the offices. There is a floor plan in here showing the affected offices that there is no work going on in these office areas, but as the picture showed during the pending log discussion, this is the areas that we were talking about.
You have photos of these areas?
Yes, I do. This is the conference room.
What's the issue? Let me see some, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not, get the computer room shows it.
Yeah.
While it's looking, these are really bellied out tiles. These are super sag tile. That's not because of a fisheye lens that you're getting. It's not a distortion. It actually is bellied down that much. And like I said, if you want to, stop by and take it in for yourself to see what it is. It's we just realized that these rooms were not being touched by any of the work, and it's not an extensive area to do. So that's why we threw it in as.
And I just want to, we wanted to be clear. So Sal, we discussed, if the price we have isn't just for replacing pads, right? Sal, the school will take care of any light fixtures or any lighting devices in the ceiling.
Right. Taking down devices such as cameras, exit signs, what else we got? Smoke detectors, things like that. We'll send a district electrician to work with them to take care of that. The lighting in the computer room is pendant. So that's an actual workaround that they don't go anyplace. And we would replace the lights. The lights are LED retrofitted. We probably would, while we have an electrician there, just take them and put them in with flat panels that match what you guys are doing, so that the whole building is consistent.
Yeah, so those items would be handled at a separate time with Sal, with his teams internally. We would just, for the purpose of these ATPs, would just be to replace all the pads and put a fresh set of ceiling pads in these rooms.
Yeah, it's just a repad, not a regrid.
Yep, yep.
And that
it's just
price is
because
the
they're
estimates based
extremely
on the
old and
heat guard?
tired.
Yeah, it's estimated. Yeah, based on that, we're getting hard pricing in from Central.
All right, I'll make
Yeah,
a
that shows
motion
it the
to,
best. Sorry.
you want it or not?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion to accept ATP 024 for Osborne School, additional ceiling tiles at office. It's coming from contingency, estimated value of $13,600.
Second the motion. Any further discussion?
No,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Would that be considered an anti-filibuster? What is that, if you talk against your own proposal?
yeah.
Okay, so we're on to other.
Yep. Other, the two, and they're school specific, but they're not Gilbane ATPs. That's why there are others. These are the two ABS proposals to change out the existing thermostats at Woods and Osborne Hill for the areas that we're not touching. This is basically the thermostat and the Cat 6 cable going back to the head end room to the panel where it needs to tie in the existing spaces that we did not touch to the new and current, to upgrade them to the current system. There are two options. One, the first option is what it is
Non-CO2.
temperature and
Humidity.
humidity, yeah. And the option two is temperature, humidity, and CO2. I've got the option two here on the books, but their option one is also available. The cost on these is about, for the non-CO2, it's about 1930 per unit. With the CO2, it's 2605 for Woods. We're replacing 106 thermostats, and at Woods, or Osborne Hill, it is the replacement of 10 thermostats in Osborne Hill. And obviously,
without these control units, the new functionality, like the internal air quality, all of that is rendered useless for those areas because they don't have the correct control units, right? Except for bleed over for, the air moves around. But am I correct in my understanding? Anybody?
yeah, so do you want to take that one?
It certainly helps. It certainly helps with those things. It also modernizes the building management system so we can do better energy management strategies as part of our energy conservation program. So it's a double. It does two things for you. It does help with your IAQ issues. It also helps with energy efficiency and
But
operation.
it doesn't impede the functionality, the current functionality of those systems. It improves
They
it.
would.
Pardon me?
And they're definite improvement,
Right.
and it gives us a unified system that we can do better strategies throughout the building for energy management and building control.
So you're at the functions from the 20 year ago functionality of those control units. We don't.
Yeah, some of them go back to 1990. I'll say to 93 to 96 renovation of the building. That's how far back some of the devices go. So they are beyond useful life kind of functionality. So
And the control unit itself has no problem handling the additional number of endpoints. It's probably more relevant question for Woods with the addition of 100 and whatever it was, 100 and
No,
100
there's
plus.
that. Yeah, well, those. So what you have is you have a modern front end that is bringing on all the new equipment, and is taking these points as old. There's that many old points, so the answer is yes, it's capable of the number of points.
So they're already plugged into the control unit.
They already
old, so it
exist.
can only do some functionality there. It's limited in what it can,
Right.
What it can do. Okay.
Now, this is not a Gilbane ATP, so how is this item executed? These two items executed through Gilbane?
It
What's
won't
what's the payment mechanism?
It'll be direct to ABS. It'll be a PO issued from the town to ABS directly.
How do you reconcile that with this contract that we have with Gilbane?
Well, it would be outside. The town is allowed to bring in their own outside contractors for the contract.
It's be similar to like Myers Moving. This is similar.
Yeah.
Setup, right?
Yeah, it's outside. It's not like we're coming in and doing. Let's see. In the spaces that they're currently that the scope is currently in, it's not like we're coming in and upgrading the thermostats in that. This is outside of their scope, so we're allowed to, under the contract, bring in outside contractors. And they're not really outside contract. Well, yeah, it's outside the scope of the project.
I don't know, Jeff, what do you think?
Well, I don't know procedurally if there's any implications to what we're doing to, I think just following on to your questions, assuming that is all copacetic and normal. It's a huge number at Woods, but it does pain me that we're doing all this work and we're not ever able to leverage the benefits of all of that infrastructure we're putting in. The IAQ, the CO2 monitoring, all of those functionalities and feature sets. I guess I would put this one before painting if I had to prioritize.
I don't disagree.
So I guess I would have actually I wish this had been part of the original scope.
Yeah, and yeah, likewise, and I don't understand why it wasn't. I mean, it's a no-brainer, but now we're paying for it. It's a big nut.
As far as the development of these projects, truthfully, the winning of the competitive state grant moved forward the execution of this project a great deal, and the pause for some of the fleshing out and while we're doing this, include this in the scope because wasn't done, and it has nothing to it's not not throwing shade at anybody. It was the speed at which the project had to move forward because of the arbitrary date that was associated with the competitive state grant that we were fortunate enough to win. And I agree with you. It probably, if I had to redo this whole thing over again, absent that um, um, hurdle to overcome. I definitely would have wanted this included from day one.
Before I change my mind, I make a motion to accept ABS proposal dated 3/19/25 for Woods Middle School, sorry. Source is contingency for $276,087.
I'll second the motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mark, just do me a favor. Oh, no, let's do the other one first. So I can do that one if you'd like. Love to jump back. Go back to the other sheet, Mark. So I can see the numbers.
Yeah.
Ooh, all right, so I'll make a motion to approve the ATP associated to ABS proposal dated 3/19/2025 for Osborne Hill, coming out of contingency in the amount of $41,762.
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
All right, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Go back to your flat document quick, Mark.
Yep.
Just
Thank you very much for that.
scroll up to the top of Woods. I want to see the summary table for Woods.
We have about $888,000 left. 98, sorry.
So we're about 60. We burned this because this was included in that
Correct.
that number. So
Yeah, this number is,
so that 1.16 number is remaining contingency inclusive of the spend we just made.
correct.
It actually includes painting as well.
Yes. All ATPs are encumbered.
Just wanted to circle back to that. Okay. Jump back to the agenda.
Invoices.
Mark, I had a quick question on ATPs. I didn't see the Fairfield Woods final cleaning ATP. I think that was in the folder. Did you just not get a chance to put that one in here?
I did not see that in the folder on Tuesday night.
Are
when I sent
we
it.
able to address that one on this call? Only because it's just the release of the allowance, and I just want to have it. I want to have it so I can get stuff going with the final cleaners.
I don't know procedurally. Jeff, do you know?
I guess we could do it as a new business item, but
All right.
With the,
Well,
with the, me-
Let's
we
try it
do have
that,
a meeting
let's try it
scheduled.
that way, and then if Mark can bring up the ATP number.
we have it on your flat document, Mark.
it's an OA, so probably
Yeah,
not.
since it's ATP 23.
$23, you said?
Yes.
Is it on this list? I can't read. That's too small for me.
No, it's not. It's an OA. It's an owner
Oh, owner's
allowance.
allowance. It's an owner's allowance. You didn't,
Yeah, it doesn't go on the pending.
because it's an allowance. Okay, sure.
Yes.
Okay.
So is it for the same amount of 42,500?
Yes, it's the same amount. Yep.
Are we at oh no, we're not. We have invoices.
All right. Yeah, let's kick the invoices off. We'll just keep it somewhat procedural, I guess. So invoice approval.
What the fuck?
It's up.
We have Gilbane's May invoices, BL's May invoices, Van Zelm
Oh, come on, what the hell?
and Collier's May invoices. Total package is $1,229,491.86.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, you lost your audio, Rodney. Okay. Give him a second to try to resolve that.
Fudge.
We can hear you, Rodney. There he goes. He'll be back. Tim, where are you today? You at Woods?
Yes, at the Woods office.
I was flirting with stopping by.
Sorry, what, Jeff?
I was flirting with stopping by, but I will text you beforehand
Okay.
if I can make time this afternoon. All right, Rodney, can you hear us? Doesn't bode well. See you reconnected. Do we have a lip reader on the group?
Well, he's muted if he's trying to talk.
So Rodney, we still cannot hear you. Well, you're muted. If you can hear me, there you go. Can you do an audio check for us? He apparently can't hear us either.
Sorry.
Here, I'm just
can you
gonna
hear me
I'm
now?
gonna write up. Can you hear us? Oh,
Yep, there you go.
Sorry.
we can hear you. Can you
All
hear
of a
us?
sudden, everything just went haywire.
It
WebEx,
happens.
a wonderful
Okay.
thing.
But you
Sorry.
can hear us. You can hear us.
Yeah,
from
I can hear
obviously.
it. Yeah, now I
Okay,
can
very
now.
good. And we have you. Okay. We're on invoices.
Yep. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jeff.
No, I was going to make the motion. You have your numbers ready? You're welcome.
I think so. I'll make the motion to accept Gilbane's invoices for Osborne School, North Stratfield Roof, and Woods Middle School. All dated 5/31/2025, in the total amount of $1,165,873.76.
I'll second the motion. Any discussion?
None.
Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Warrant to BL.
I'll make a motion to accept BL Company's invoices for Osborne Vestibule, North Stratfield Vestibule, Woods Vestibule, and Tomlinson School, all dated 5/30/2025, in the total amount of $36,360.32.
Second the motion. Any discussion? Very good. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye. I make a motion to accept Van Zelm's invoice 5/3/527 dated 6/12/2025, in the amount of $14,993.48.
Just a correction, it's $14,493.48.
I agree.
Okay, second the motion. Any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll make a motion to accept Collier's invoice number 105963693 dated 5/31/2025, in the amount of $12,764.30.
Second the motion. Any discussion?
None.
Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. Moving on, old business. We covered the GMP for Tomlinson, so I'll give Lee a call this morning and get clarity on that. And we're gonna get that over to the BOS ASAP. And we'll check with the BOS as far as procedurally and see how much they need there. Other additionally under old business, they have Fitz House. I know that there was we had said that we were waiting till the cold returned to test the heating. I know there was an email chain going around from Save More. So Sal, does that put to bed, or is there exposure from that?
Mark Schweitzer, Rob Ayer from Van Zelm and I had a meeting with Save More last Friday. They are of the opinion that they're done. Everything's warranty. Give me my money. And we explained our stance that that's not exactly how it works. We got a defect that from day one hasn't been overcome, and it's incumbent upon him, since he owns the contract with Train, to make sure that they resolve the problems. And absent being able to verify the latest fixed, the money just can't be released. It's very clear he's of a different opinion. I'm just working right now. We did have RTU 4 trip out last Thursday. We gave the work order to Save More so that they can work with Train. I'm getting the same. I literally just got another work order for RTU 4, so I'm writing to Train directly. I'm including a more senior person than the person that we're working with in on the email, so that we get response from Train. If at the end of the day, if Save More doesn't continue to respond for this project, we'll have to bring in a third party whenever needed. I believe that Train will respond. I do not believe that Save More forwarded the work order to him. But if there's ever anything that we need we need a mechanical contractor on, and Save More refuses to come out, we'll bring in a third party and we'll hold the costs against the retainage, which is the purpose of a retainage. One of the many purposes of a retainage. So yeah, it's I've alerted Adam Tooling, the purchasing director, to the issue. He's also forwarded a question to the town attorney about it. So we're doing our steps. There was an email with some incorrect statements made in it, so Van Zelm will answer to that. It had to do with the drawing, so it's up to them to answer those questions, and we'll keep you apprised of what's going on.
Okay. Thank you for the update. I have one other item on old business. That was just the Cherry Hill glass timing. I know that you guys have been working with them, and there's some communication that we were just looking to get, I guess every week we go by just to make sure we're still on track with Cherry Hill.
And that was provided in Tim's update.
We talked about the framing, but I didn't hear an
frames was
update on
8,
the.
and the glass was 14 weeks out at 8/22 ship date.
Okay. So it's still very tight, but
Still very tight.
It's going to go in fast.
Yep.
Okay. That's all I have for old business. Rodney, anything else from you from old business perspective?
None from my end.
Okay, new business.
Since this wasn't put on the sheet for ATPs, I'll make a motion to accept ATP 23 for final cleaning for the Woods Middle School, coming out of allowance in the amount of $42,500.
I'll second the motion. Any further discussion?
None.
Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, any other new business, Rodney?
No, good.
All right. Okay, if no other new business, I will make a motion to adjourn. Our
I
next
will
meeting.
second that motion.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
What is today? Today's the 20th.